Tranmere Rovers and Burnley. Just as a kick-off, I'll give you a quick rundown on the teams. For Tranmere Rovers, in number goal is the former Man City goalkeeper Eric Nipson. Number 2, Dave Higgins. 3, Mark McCarrick. 4, Dave Martindale. 5, Ronnie Moore. 6, Steve Vickers. Number 7 is John Morris. He's supposed to be quite good. Number 8, Jim Harvey. Number 9, Jim Steele. Number 10, Ian Muir. Number 11, Steve Mungle. And the subs for Tranmere are Eddie Bishop at 12, and 14 is Chris Malkin. For Burnley keep mostly the same side that played on Saturday. They are at number 1, Chris Pearce. Number 2, Andy Farrell. Number 3, Sean McGurran to the side because Ian Measham got injured on Saturday. Number 4 is Ian Britton. Number 5, Steve Davis. Number 6, Steve Garner. Number 7 is Winston White. Number 8, George Agani. Number 9, Brendan O'Connell. Number 10 is Paul Comstiff. Number 11 is Ashley Hoskins. And the subs for Burnley today, changed from Saturday, are Steve Taylor at 12, and at 14 it's Peter Zellum. The referee for today's game is Mr. M. Peck from Kendal, and linesmen are Mr. J. Corkin and Mr. T. Lance. So on the wheel today, another big following from Burnley. Burnley playing in blue, the third of their strips today. Tranmere in all white. So Burnley kicking to the goal on our right for the moment. Steve Garner puts the ball forward, trying to reach Winston White, just to get a touch for Brendan O'Connell, but well cleared up there by Dave Higgins for Tranmere Rovers. Cold and blustery day up here in the Wirral. Eric Nixon kicks the ball forward. Long kick trying to reach Jim Steele. Tries to get a touch for Ian Muir, but to no avail. It comes back to Chris Pearce. So it's Chris Pearce with the ball for Burnley. Kicks the ball forward. Brendan got a touch to it, but that's with Steve Vickers. Play forward for Steve Mungle. Mungle in the box for Tranmere. Crosses the ball for Ian Muir, but Ian Muir's header just flies over the goal. Good effort there from Tranmere. 5 minutes of this game gone. So Tranmere trying to catch Burnley on the break there. Nearly scored in the first 5 minutes. Good effort, but it headed just over the bar for Ian Muir. Burnley's defence seemed in tatters. So a long kick for Chris Pearce. Trying to find Brendan O'Connell, but Brendan O'Connell fouled there by Steve Vickers. So it's Steve Garner with the kick. Well, Steve Davis decides to take it instead. Kicks forward for Brendan O'Connell. Brendan with the ball in the box. It's well cleared there, and it's with Ian Muir for Tranmere. And they foul offside there, so Tranmere Rovers have a free kick. Tranmere's shirt sponsor, of course, an S. Same one we had last year. No, with Spal. So Nixon with another of those long kicks well into the Burnley half. Ian Britton clears the ball for Burnley. And now it's with Paul Comstiff. Paul Comstiff trying to catch him on the break. Brendan O'Connell just offside there. Tried to hold himself back, but to no avail. Very tight decision. So Steve Vickers is going to take the kick forward from him. Long kick forward, but headed out there by Steve Garner. Only as far as Jim Harvey. The ball comes back to Chris Pearce. So Winston White gets a touch free in Bitton. Bitton plays it back for White. White beats two men, passes the ball to George Agani. Agani gets it through to Brendan. Brendan tries to get a touch. Tranmere win possession. The ball only goes as far as Steve Gardner. Jim Steele playing up front for Tranmere today. Bought from Wrexham for £50,000 this season. Always been a good player, played in Europe for Wrexham. As so has Chris Pearce and Paul Comstiff, played at Wrexham same time as them two for a while. Paul Comstiff fouling Mark McCarrick. So Tranmere have a free kick to be taken by Dave Higgins. Higgins plays it forward to Jim Steele. Ball comes back to Chris Pearce. Another man Burnley will have to try and beat today is Eric Nixon, former Manchester City goalie. Always out of favour at City. Bought from £60,000, bargain buy for Tranmere Rovers. And he'll be a very hard man to beat. Tranmere have possession now with Jim Steele on this left hand side. Jim Steele gets the ball through to Mark McCarrick, tries to get a cross in, but only as far as keeper Chris Pearce. So it's Emile with the ball. Tranmere play forward for Jim Steele. The ball gets back for Chris Pearce. Jim Harvey with the ball for Tranmere. Gets it to the wing to John Morrissey. So John Morrissey fouled by Andy Farrell to give Tranmere Rovers another free kick.
Dominating this shit. Just like
So it's Jim Harvey with the ball. Plays a free kick in, but well handled there by Chris Pearce. So Pearce takes the kick onto the head of Brendan O'Connell instead of finds nobody. It's with Jim Harvey for Tranmere. Plays a beautiful ball forward for John Morrissey on this right wing. Called the Burnley defence snapping. Right onto the head of Jim Steele. Heads it past Chris Pearce for the first goal of the game. So Tranmere Rovers 1-0 up after 10 minutes. It all started with Jim Harvey. Jim Harvey played a defence-splitting ball through to that right hand side with John Morrissey. His cross found the head of Jim Steele right into the back of the net, giving Chris Pearce no chance at all. Now it's for Winston White. White tries a shot, unlucky. So this is just what Burnley didn't want in the first 10 minutes. Go a goal down away from home. Consteve gets a header to Georgia Garney. Finds Ashley Hoskin. Hoskin tries to play a long ball forward for Paul Consteve. Paul Consteve gets his crossover, but nobody in the box for Burnley. And the ball's with Winston White on this far side. Gets the ball through to Ian Britton. Britton tries to chip his defender, but no avail. And he gets back to Andy Farrell.
He's a shit!
Now Winston White has the ball for Burnley. Gets a cross in, straight into the hands of Eric Nixon. So Steve Mungo plays the ball forward for Jim Steele. Steele tries to get Stephen Morrison away. The ball comes straight back to Chris Pearce. So Steve Davis with the ball for Burnley. One kick forward onto there to Georgia Garney. Got a chance to reach Winston White, but play forward. Ashley Hoskin with the ball, Burnley. One back by Tranmere. Now it's Steve Morrissey. But the ball comes back to Chris Pearce. So Chris Pearce plays the ball upfield. Georgia Garney gets fouled. So it's going to be Steve Davis with the kick for Burnley. So Steve Davis plays it forward to there Paul Consteve. Only as far as Steve Mungo. Brendan O'Connell there trying to win the ball. No intent meant, he was just going in for it, but referee just having a quick chat with Brendan. So it's Eric Nixon in the penalty area for Tranmere, lining up his kick. Plays it forward. Jim Steele and Steve Davis missed to the ball. This ball obviously from the ball out for Tranmere throw in. So it's on that far side with John Morrissey. As the ball goes out for a Tranmere throw in on that far side. So it's with Ian Muir. Well, bad touch there, and Ashley Hoskin has the ball for Burnley. Plays the ball forward with Paul Consteve. Paul Consteve on that far side, powering down. Tries to get a cross in, slips, and it goes well behind the goal for a Tranmere goal kick. So Eric Nixon with a kick for Tranmere Rovers. Plays it forward. Steve Davis, a bit of a blatant foul there on Jim Steele. We get a talking to from the referee. Tranmere Rovers have a free kick in the Burnley half. Taken by captain Jim Harvey. Played forward. Chris Pearce to touch the ball to the head of Jim Steele. So Chris Spears plays the ball forward, trying to reach Brendan O'Connell. O'Connell fouled. Which gives Burnley a free kick in the Tranmere Rovers half. So it looks like it's going to be Andy Fowle with the kick for Burnley. Andy Fowle plays the ball forward, trying to reach Steve Davis. Beaten to the ball and cleared there by Jim Harvey, the Tranmere Rovers captain. Loose foul, Sean McGrory. McGrory plays it forward, but Winston White and George Agani offside there. So with Burnley's away record at the moment, we really didn't want to be conceding that goal in the first 10 minutes. Good header there from Jim Steele. His 100th least goal of the season, signed from Wrexham. Ian Muir offside for Tranmere, which gives Burnley a free kick, which goes straight to Chris Pearce. So it's Chris Pearce with the kick for Tranmere, for Burnley, sorry. Plays the ball forward. Brendan O'Connell has the ball. Burnley. Looking for channels there with Mark McCarry. So the ball kicked forward. It's with John Morrissey. It's Tranmere Rovers win their free kick in their half. Looks like Jim Harvey's standing around the ball. He's ready to take it. This is Jim Harvey, gets a touch through to Mark McCarrick. Timmed into the box with Ian Muir. Lovely turn, shot on goal, but well saved there by Chris Pearce. So Tranmere have a corner kick, going to be taken by Jim Harvey. Jim Harvey with the corner. A touch on, but a bit of danger in the Burnley area. Well cleared, straight to Ashley Hoskins. Hoskins blatantly fouled there. Going straight into the referee's notebook. Steve Mungle with the foul on Ashley Hoskins. Chris Pearce is injured in the Burnley area. Don't know what from. Jimmy Holland on the pitch saying to him. So play stops for a couple of minutes while Chris Pearce gets some attention. So play comes to a standstill here at Penton Park while Chris Pearce receives some attention. Burnley are waiting for their free kick. And the foul on Ashley Hoskins. Chris Pearce looks very badly injured. All quiet here at Benson Park. Whole set of supporters quiet. Play at a standstill. Steve Davis is still waiting to take the free kick, but Chris Pearce looks very badly hurt and receiving attention now for a couple of minutes by Jimmy Howell. Chris Pearce with a bit of a leg bandage. So he gets back on his feet. And Steve Davis takes a kick. Burnley reaches ahead of Paul Comstive, but well cleared there by Steve Mungle. Goes with Jim Harvey, Tranmere. And now it's Steve Davis for Burnley and Paul Comstive. So Paul Comstive plays the ball down the wing for George Agani. Agani's fouled there by Dave Martindale from Tranmere to give Burnley a free kick deep into the Tranmere half. So the ball kicked across the goal. Got a touch off Steve Davis, but nobody managed to get on the end of it. And now it's with Ian Britton for Burnley. Britton plays it back for Sean McCrory. McCrory tries to get the ball forward off Steve Mungle for a Burnley throw-in in the Tranmere half. So it's George Agani on this far side with the ball. George Agani adjudged there to have fouled Dave Martindale. Tranmere a free kick. Straight back to keeper Eric Nixon. So Eric Nixon takes a long kick, another long kick into the Burnley half. Steve Davis adjudged there to have fouled Jim Steele. Tranmere pushes everybody forward, looking for the second goal. It's Jim Harvey with the kick, floats it forward but straight into the arms of keeper Chris Pearce. So Ashley Hosking comes away with the ball for Burnley. But Ben and O'Connell there just to have been offside. So after a lively start, this game has sunk down to quite boring at the moment. Neither side looking very on top. Tranmere looking the best of the two, it must be said. They are pushing everything forward, trying to get the goals. So Tranmere have a throw in on this near side, taken by Mark McCarrick. Found Ian Muir. It's Jim Steele there, offside. So Steve Garner gets a touch back to Chris Pearce. Pearce kicks the ball out, trying to reach Winston White. Manages to get a touch to George Agani. Agani gets it back to Andy Farrell. Very long ball for Brendan O'Connell. It's O'Connell on the ball at the moment for Burnley. White gets the ball into the box with Georgiani. It's well cleared there by Tranmere, by Steve Mungle. And it's Paul Constable with the ball for Burnley. Plays a ball forward for Ashley Hoskins. Hoskins beaten to the ball. Tranmere come away with Jim Harvey. Harvey plays it for Muir. It's a long ball forward. It goes out for a goal kick for Burnley. So after quite a poor holiday weekend for Burnley, beaten at home on Boxing Day 3-1 by Wrexham, and then winning on Saturday by a very dubious home goal, which Georgia Garni has claimed. Burnley've got 3 points out of 6. It's Paul Comstock has the ball for Burnley. No, it's Sean McGrory. Ball is out for Tranmere Rovers throwing. So it's Ian Muir with the ball. Gets it out for a Burnley throw-in. Taken by Ashley Hoskins. And the ball is back with Chris Pearce. Nice ball out there for John Morrissey. Morrissey fouled by Sean McGrory. So it's going to be Jim Harvey with the kick for Tranmere. Plays the ball forward, trying to reach the head of Jim Steele, straight into the arms of Chris Pearce. So it's Winston White. Ball. Focus off Winston White. It's White with the ball again for Burnley. Takes it round Mark McCarrick on this right wing. Plays the ball forward for Brendan O'Connell. Now back with Winston White. Tries to play the ball into the box, but nobody there for Burnley. It's back with White. Like I said, delightful crossing onto the head of Paul Comstiff. Good header on goal, but well saved there by Eric Nixon. So the first real effort that Burnley have had this half came from a header by Paul Comstiff. Well saved there by Eric Nixon for Tranmere. But bad ball there by Steve Garner. Sean Morrissey with the ball, but fouled by Sean McGrory. So Sean McGrory going into the referee's notebook there. For that professional foul. So John Morrissey up and running again. Sean McGill going into the book for that challenge there. It's Steve Mungo with the ball for Tranmere. Play forward. Straight to Dave Martindale. The shot on goal, but saved by Chris Pearce. So it's Winston White on this near side. Just to play the ball forward to Nobi in particular. As Steve Vickers gets fouled there by Winston White. The Tranmere Rovers free kick will be taken this time by Mark McCarrick. But well out there by Ian Britton. Plays the ball through to Paul Comstiff. It's a touch for Winston White, who's fouled there by Ian Muir. So it's Andy Farrell with the kick for Burnley. Play forward, trying to reach Brendan O'Connell. Brendan gets a touch to it, but Dave Martindale with possession, only as far as Ian Britton. Tries to get a touch through to Winston White, intercepted. And Jim Harvey gets the ball up to Steve Mungle. With against possession and wins a corner for Tranmere Rovers. Be taken by Jim Harvey. Jim Harvey takes a corner and slips. Gives Burnley a goal kick. So Chris Pearce takes a kick. Burnley. Forward. Goal ball there from Dave Martindale for John Morrissey. Morrissey trying to beat Sean McGill. He gets the cross in, put out by Steve Gardner. And as far as Ian Muir. Ian Muir gets the ball back out to John Morrissey. Steve Mungo gets the cross into the box. Ian Britton has the ball and gets it back to Chris Pearce. So it's Chris Pearce with the kick. Very poor kick. But Winston White managed to get the ball. And Steve Gardner with a very bad touch. Gives Tranmere a throw in. Will be taken by Ian Muir. To Jim Harvey. Ian Britton with a slicing challenge there, trying to get the ball back. So Mark McCarrick has the ball for Tranmere Rovers. Played in, but totally missed hit. And gives Burnley a goal kick. So Chris Pearce with the kick for Burnley. Play forward. Brendan managed to get a touch to it. And Winston White managed to regain possession. And Burnley win a free kick for their troubles. So Andy Farrell with the ball on this free kick in the Tranmere half for Burnley. Kick forward, got a touch on, straight to Georgie Garney. Garney manages to get it on the wing for Ashley Hoskins. Hoskins gets a touch back for Paul Comstiff. Comstiff crashed, clear from the Tranmere area. Britain as a ball, Tranmere. For Burnley, fouled by Tranmere number 8 there, Jim Harvey, to give Burnley a free kick. It's taken by Steve Garner. Steve Garner plays the ball in. It's cleared. As far as Ashley Hoskin. Hooks the ball forward for Winston White. Winston White beaten to the ball there by Ian Muir. Muir fouled quite blatantly there by Winston White. So that's the second Burnley player to go into the book. Sean McGrory for a foul. And now also Winston White for a foul on Ian Muir. Pathetic, no need for that. So it's Steve Vickers with the kick for Tranmere Rovers. Forward, Steve Garner managed to get a touch to the ball. Oh no, it's with Winston White. White fouled there. They'll take the free kick and have possession with Andy Farrell. Farrell tries to play the ball forward for Georgie Garney. So Tranmere get the ball back to keeper Eric Nixon. 40 minutes gone so far in this first half. Tranmere Rovers 1, Burnley 0. Tranmere looking the better side in this half. Burnley just having one goal chance. When a good save from Eric Nixon denied a Paul Comstiff header. Bang on goal. And apart from that, this game has seemed rather quiet. 2 bookings so far, both Burnley. Sean McGrory and Winston White. Trevor Burnley, free kick for a foul there on Steve Davis. So Steve Davis plays the ball forward. Paul Comstiff gets a head onto it. Georgie Garney looking very out of the game at the moment, not trying very hard. Seems to be drifting in and out of the play. It's with Jim Harvey at the moment. It's a touch through. Shot there from Jim Steele, well wide of the goal. So Chris Pearce with the kick for Burnley. Chris Pearce only goes as far as Andy Farrell. Managed to get a touch off the Tranmere Rovers. Ian Muir for a free kick. Taken. Bernard O'Connor gets a head onto it. So goes out for Tranmere Rovers throwing. Taken by Martin McCarrick. Thrown forward. Jim Steele trying to beat to the ball. Comes off Andy Farrell's foot. So Martin McCarrick gets a throw to Ian Muir. No, it's with John Morrissey. Morrissey trying to beat Sean McGrory. Gets a beautiful ball for Steve Mungle. Mungle on the edge of the box. Wasted chance there from Steve Mungle. Should really have scored. On the edge of the box, clear chance at goal, but blasts a shot across the face of the goal and out for Burnley. Goal kick. So Chris Pearce with the kick. That's Steve Mungle again, but well out there by Sean McGrory. Team Muir's the ball in the Burnley box. On the balls with keeper Chris Pearce. So Chris Pearce with the kick. It's to Brendan O'Connell. Near up the ball again, gets a touch to John Morrissey. John Morrissey tries to cross the ball in for Jim Steele. Cleared by Steve Davis. Bad clearance. As far as Sean McGrory, whose mistimed clearance is out for Tranmere Rovers corner. So it's going to be Captain Jim Harvey with the kick for Tranmere Rovers. Went to the box. The referee had blown for an infringement. So Chris Pearce has up the goal kick. 45 minutes gone so far in this Barclays League Division 4 game here at Penton Park. The score is Tranmere Rovers 1, Burnley 0. As Chris Pearce takes a kick forward. Ashley Hoskin has possession for Burnley. Hoskin tries to play the ball forward for George Agani. Agani though, not his usual self, not looking too sharp today. He throws it forward, gets a touch off George Agani. It's with Ashley Hoskin. And now Ian Britton. And now with Winston White on his right hand side. White gets a good cross in. It's, nobody there for Burnley. So it comes to Ashley Hoskins. Hoskin gets a touch to Paul Comstiff on the edge of the box. Who wins a corner. So Ian Britton with the corner for Burnley. Kick forward, Paul Comstiff tries to get a touch. Comes out to Ashley Hoskin. Hoskin has a try and goal. It's straight into the arms of Eric Nixon. Nixon with a long kick forward, straight to the feet of Ian Muir, and now Jim Steele. Chris Pearce kicks it out for a Burnley goal kick. So it's Chris Pearce with a kick for Burnley. Trying to reach the head of Brendan O'Connell. Comes out to Winston White. And just a touch on to Andy Farrell. Tries to play the ball down the line to Brendan O'Connell. Brendan O'Connell adjudged to have fouled Steve Vickers. So it's kicked to be taken by Steve Vickers. He kicks it forward. So Steve Davis heads the ball back, but throwing to be taken by, Mark McCarrick. It's John Moister with the ball for Tranmere. Just play a ball out for Steve Mungle. Mungle lets the ball run out of touch for a Burnley throw-in. We're taken by Sean McGrory. Rory gets the ball through for Brendan O'Connell. And now it's with Steve Davis. John Morrissey going forward for Tranmere Rovers. His shot ballooned over the bar. A bad kick there, bad pass by Ian Britton. So, Chris Pearce, the kick for Burnley. Spear kicks the ball forward. Welcome back to the second half here at Penton Park. Scores of course 1-0 to Tranmere Rovers. Burnley looking at a shadow of a side at the moment. Whilst with Steve Mungle tries to play it forward for John Morrissey. McGrory there seems to be quite fouled by John Morrissey. So it's going to be Chris Pearce with the goal kick. So it's going to be Sean McGrory with the throw in for Burnley. Going forward, Starski has possession. Tries to take it back to Dave Higgins. Wins a throw in. So Ashley Hoskins with the ball. Just get a cross in. Headed out, and it's Ian Britton. Plays the ball forward for Winston White. Offside. So Eric Nixon with the free kick. Tranmere. So Nixon with a long kick forward. Headed back by Paul Constiff to Ian Britton. Britton tries to play it forward for Winston White. Mark McCarrick there. Wins a throw in for Tranmere Rovers. Tranmere have possession. Burnley win back possession with Paul Constiff. Puts the ball out for Ashley Hoskin. Hoskin failing to track the ball. And John Morrissey to be away, but timely intervention there by Steve Gardner. Penton probably was short by a goal. The ball gets back to Eric Nixon and Dave Higgins. I've been informed by some Tranmere faithful that some First Division clubs have been in for Eric Nixon, former Man City goalkeeper of course. Very good goalkeeper. Terry Venables amongst one has been down having a look at Nixon play. Georgie Gani with the ball at the moment. Burnley plays a lovely ball for Winston White on that far side. White tries a shot, but straight at Eric Nixon. Nothing in that one. So Nixon with the kick. Long kick forward. One in the air by Paul Constiff. Georgie Gani tries to get a touch through. With Jim Harvey. Plays for Dave Martindale. This out on the wing to danger man John Morrissey. Morrissey with the ball, gets a cross into the box with Jim Steele. Steele gets it back for Dave Martindale. Brought out to the box by Sean McGrory. And with Ashley Hoskin. John Morrissey again with the ball. Cleared by the Burnley defence. And back to keeper Chris Pearce. So Pearce with a long kick. Georgie Goni managed to get a touch to the ball. Steve Garner punts the ball forward. Gets back to the other goalie this time, Eric Nixon. So it's going to be Eric Nixon with a kick for Tranmere Rovers. One kick forward. But, Andy Farrell has the ball. Well kept in. Paul Constiff handling the ball, trying to intercept a clearance. It's going to be Tranmere Rovers free kick to be taken by Ronnie Moore. So Ronnie Moore with the kick, Tranmere Rovers into the area, but Jim Steele just have been holding back Steve Davis. Burnley have the ball with Winston White. Run back. Steve Davis has the ball for Burnley. Play forward. Dave Martindale winning the ball back. Hunted out of play for Burnley throwing. Play comes to a stop this time while Ian Muir receives some attention. So just about 7 minutes gone in this second half. So, seeing me receive some attention, seems okay now. Play can commence. The throw in for Burnley. So it's Georgie Garner with the ball. Goes off Ian Muir for another Burnley throw in. O'Connell with the ball for Burnley. Well played there by Steve Vickers. The ball comes back to Dave Martindale, who gets it back to keeper Eric Nixon. So Nixon with a long kick. Headed out by Steve Davis. Paul Constiff. Looks to be a very fair challenge there on Mark McCurry, but the referee gave it as a foul. So it's going to be a Tranmere Rovers free kick taken by Ronnie Moore. Kick forward, headed out by Steve Davis. And then booted clear by Sean McGrory. Paul Constiff has possession. It's a touch out for Ian Britton. Beaten to the ball though by Dave Martindale. This ball in to Dave Higgins. It's a touch for Ian Muir. Muir's shot on goal. Just wide. So Chris Pearce with a kick for Burnley. Played forward. So it's Sean McGill with the header for Burnley. Way forward. Brendan O'Connell has a touch. Through to Winston White. White goes in to have a shot. Deflected there. Saved by Eric Nixon. Eric Nixon plays the ball forward. Steve Davis has the ball for Burnley. Plays it forward for Brendan O'Connell. Gets a touch. Tries to reach Winston White. Intercepted there. Andy Farrell has the ball for Burnley. Back to Winston White. Now gets it back to Andy Farrell. Andy Farrell, the battle there in midfield. It's going to be in-bitten with the ball. Plays it back for Sean McGrory. Plays a good ball through to George Agani. John Morrissey comes away with the ball for Tranmere Rovers. Plays a good ball through to Jim Steele. Steele tries to cross the ball over from Ian Muir. It's a first time shot on goal, but straight into the hands of Chris Pearce. So Chris Pearce with a long kick. As far as Brendan O'Connell. Now it's Johnny Moore with the ball for Tranmere Rovers. Play forward for Steve Mungle. Mungle forward there. Sean McGill gets sent off for the second bookable offence on Steve Mungle. So McGill gets sent off for the foul there on Steve Mungle. So the ball's with Ian Muir. Muir just to a foul Andy Farrell. So Chris Pearce has the ball for Burnley. Thrown out for Steve Davis. So plays it forward for George Agani. Agani gets back for Paul Constiff. Constiff plays it forward for Ashley Hoskins. Ashley trying to play a ball forward for Brendan O'Connell. Chased Steve Vickers out for Burnley throwing. Burnley win a corner kick.
Announcements to the Burnley fans. At the end of the game, can you please stay where you are for 5 or 10 minutes while we clear the car park? Thank you.
Ashley Hoskin takes a corner. Very bad corner. Kicked out by Steve Mungle. That's Winston White with the ball. Ball floated in. Trying to reach George Agani. Float again. Steve Davis plays the ball forward for Ashley Hoskin. Steve Mungle just there in time for Tranmere Rovers. So Eric Nixon with a long throw out to Mark McCarrick. So Ian Britton winning the ball back. And Steve Gardner plays the ball forward. Only as far as Ian Britton. Britton tries to reach Brendan O'Connell. Brendan just offside. Eric Nixon with a long kick forward. Header off by Ashley Hoskins. Under head on. Georgie Garney gets a touch there. And the ball is back with Hoskin on this near side. Soon tries to get a cross in. Nobody there for Burnley. Paul Constantly beaten to the ball by Steve Mungle. Now it's captain Jim Harvey.
Good stuff.
Jim Harvey trying to take the free kick quickly there. With some white Justin. So obviously not 10 yards back. So Tranmere get a replay of their free kick. This time it will be taken by Dave Higgins. So it's going to be Mark Higgins with the kick. Kick forward. Headed out by Steve Higgins. On his far is Dave Martindale. He plays a lovely shot right into the corner of the net. Giving Chris Pearce absolutely no chance whatsoever. Superb shot there from Dave Martindale for Tranmere Rovers. Giving Chris Pearce absolutely no chance at all in the Burnley goal. So the score here, with 20 minutes gone in this second half, is Tranmere Rovers 2, Burnley 0. It's Georgie Garney has the ball for Burnley. Now Ian Bitten tries to get a cross in. Well cleared by Tranmere. Well, with Mark McCarrick. Now Paul Constiff for Burnley. As the ball comes back to Eric Nixon via Ronnie Moore. So now it's Ian Muir with the ball. Interception there. He gets back to Eric Nixon. And Nixon kicks the ball forward. Header backwards and not forwards by Ian Britton. Ian Moore has possession. It's with Dave Martindale. Spike forward. Deep cross in, nobody there for Tranmere Rovers. So another very disheartening performance here by Burnley. 2-0 down, 20 minutes in the second half. Very much the second team. So Paul Constiff winning possession for Burnley. That's Andy Farrell. Just wait for Georgie Garney. Into the ball. Steve Garner has the possession for Burnley. Ball's played out wide to Ian Britton. Britton plays it through to Brendan O'Connell. Georgie Garney tries to get a touch. It comes back to Eric Nixon. All the Burnley fans totally disheartened, and no wonder why really. A performance like this, another bad performance away from home. Burnley just the second side totally. So Chris Pearce has a ball for Burnley. One kick forward, trying to reach Georgie Garney. Works with Ashley Hoskin. And now Georgie Garney. Garney plays the ball through to Ashley Hoskins. Comes back now to Paul Constiff. Constiff tries to play a deep ball into the box. But, neatly caught there by Eric Nixon. So it's Steve Davis with the ball for Burnley. Back to Ian Britton. Britton gets it back to Captain Davis. So Steve Davis trying to reach Ashley Hoskins. Kept out there by Steve Mongol. Paul Constance has possession for Burnley. It's clear from the Tranmere half. So Ashley Hoskin with possession. Now Dave Martindale with the ball for Tranmere Rovers. One ball forward. Trying to reach John Moisty, but cut out there by Steve Gardner. Garney fouled, gives Burnley a free kick. Taken by Steve Davis. Comes back to Jim Steele. Wilson White has the ball on that far side. Puts the cross in, trying to reach Brendan O'Connell. With Paul Constiff. Wins the ball, but goes out for Tranmere Rovers throwing. So Eric Nixon with a kick as Steve Taylor starts to warm up for Burnley. Nixon with a long kick, touched on by Steve Davis. Wesley Hoskin has possession, plays it forward for Brendan O'Connell. O'Connell gets it through on that right hand side to Ian Britton. Britton plays it back into White. Goes back to Steve Davis. Davis tries to play a ball forward for George Garney. But Jim Harvey clears. Jim Steele well offside there for Tranmere Rovers. So Garner with the kick for Burnley. Nice with Andy Farrell. Puts it through for Ian Britton. Now it's back with Andy Farrell. Farrell gets it out on the wing to Paul Constiff. His cross. It's out of touch. Steve Taylor prepares to come on to the field. Just getting this tracksuit off. So Nixon kicks the ball forward for Tranmere. Steve Davis wins possession for Burnley. And now Dave Martindale has the ball. Tranmere Rovers. Comes out for Ian Muir. Muir plays a good ball forward. Steve Vickers, but Burnley clear it. Brendan O'Connell. O'Connell gets a touch through to George Garner. But ball goes out. So Nixon kicks the ball forward. Steve Davis plays any danger. Burnley. He threw on that right hand side to Ian Britton. Britton plays it forward. Mr. White gets it through to Ian Britton. Bitten tries to float the ball in. Here's Ashley Hoskins. Hoskins, a weak cross. Means that Tranmere regain possession. So goes out. The throw in. So Ashley Hoskins comes off the field. Make way for Steve Taylor.
Substitute for Burnley, Steve Taylor replaces Ashley Hoskins.
So Steve Davis, it's possession for Burnley. Back to Ian Britton. Britton plays a long ball forward, trying to reach Steve Taylor. So the ball is cleared and goes out of the ground.
Right, the winning number for the Giant Bar and Rock was a white ticket number 6, and the telephone number on the back is 645-6964. White ticket number 6.
Ian Britton with the throw in for Burnley. Plays the ball forward for Paul Comstiff, gets a touch through to Brendan O'Connell. O'Connell gets a touch into the box. Ball saved there by Eric Nixon. So Nixon with a long kick forward, straight to Ian Muir. Muir fails to control the ball, and Britton wins back possession. So the ball goes out for Burnley throw-in on that far side. Tranmere regain possession and the ball comes back to keeper Eric Nixon. So Nixon with a long kick forward, straight to Jim Steele. Now the ball comes out for Steve Mungle. Now John Morrison. Morrissey gets it back to captain Jim Harvey. So it's on this far side to Steve Mungle. Mungle crosses it into Jim Steele. Missed his header completely. And Chris Spears has a ball for Burnley. Infringement there. It's Tranmere Rovers free kick. So Steve Vickers. Plays it forward. Offside there. Just Burnley a free kick. Ian Britton with the ball length for Burnley. Clear forward for Winston White. So White gets that on this near side to Andy Farrell. Farrell in turn gets it to Paul Comstiff. Paul Comstiff tries to get the ball through for Winston White. Cleared on as far as Steve Davis. Now it's with Andy Farrell. Winston White offside there. So now Steve Mungle has the ball for Tranmere Rovers, plays it forward for John Morrissey. Mostly beaten to the ball there, but wins it back to the box. Jim Steele with a super header straight in the goal, but Chris Pearce managing to save the ball, going into the net with his feet. So Winston White with the ball for Burnley. Plays it forward, was out of touch for Tranmere Rovers. Throw in. This game totally died to death here at Prenton Park. Scores Tranmere Rovers 2, Burnley 0. Burnley playing very, very, very poorly indeed. Burnley want to throw it in on this near side. Quite hard doing a commentary, trying to make the most of this game. So Andy Farrell with the throw in for Burnley. Steve Taylor gets a touch on it, but the straight Steve Mungle gets it back to Eric Nixon. Steve Vickers with a touch there for Tranmere. Steve Garner there adjudged to have fouled Jim Harvey for Tranmere. So the crowd starts singing Brian Miller out. A sad reflection on the state of the play at the moment. John Morrissey beating two tackles. Two back in. Chipped in for John Morrissey, but Morrissey offside. Ian Bitten, the ball plays it through for Winston White. Winston White gets it back for Ian Bitten. It's a shot on goal. Beautiful goal from Ian Bitten. Hits it from the edge of the box. Trying to fire some life into the team. The only decent player we have at the moment. The player who always works his socks off for us. Good goal there by Ian Bitten. Superb player is Ian Bitten. Lovely goal right into the corner net, giving Eric Nixon absolutely no chance at all. So that's put some life into the Burnley team now. Steve Mungle with the ball, gets it through for Ian Muir. Tranmere Rovers get a free kick. So Tranmere Rovers with a free kick. Chris Pearce with a long kick. John Morrissey catching Andy Farrell on the hops there. So John Morrissey just to have been offside. Andy Farrell and John Morrissey not hearing the whistle there. I'm going to go old tussle in that corner, not realising that it was a free kick for Burnley because he was offside. So, offside on one of the Burnley players. So, my mistake. Foul throw by Andy Farrell. Gives Steve Mungle a throw in. So, well cleared there by Steve Gardner. So, the ball's out of touch for Tranmere Rovers. Throw in. Jim Steele trying to win the ball back. Good for Burnley throw in. Taken by Andy Farrell. Back to Steve Gardner. Kind of placed it upfield for Steve Taylor. Just a touch onto it. Ball comes back to Eric Nixon. Eric Nixon gets the ball forward. Offside on Jim Steele. So with 40 minutes gone in this game, the scores are Tranmere Rovers 2, Burnley 1. Dave Martindale with the ball for Tranmere Rovers. Down that far side to Mark McCarrick. McCarrick plays the ball in. Jim Steele gets a touch. So, cleared there. And the ball booted forward to that wing to John Morrissey. Morrissey with Andy Farrell. Andy Farrell gets the better of the challenge. And Morrissey wins the throw in for Tranmere Rovers. So Winston White with the ball for Burnley. Well tackled there by Tranmere Rovers captain Jim Harvey. Winston White held there by Jim Harvey. Giving Burnley a throw in. A free kick. Will be taken by Andy Farrell. So Andy Farrell plays the ball forward. So there's Paul Comstiff. Cleared by Steve Dugdale. Ian Pitton tries another shot on goal. Going right in the corner of the net, but good save there by Eric Nixon. So Ian Pitton seems to be the only player at the moment in the Burnley side who wants to win this game. 2 good attempts on goal. As John Morrissey has the ball for Tranmere Rovers. Tries to play the ball forward. Cleared by Steve Gardner. Punted clear again by Steve Gardner. Sweet Mule with the ball. Cleared. Paul Crossley gets ahead to it. And just to have been fouled, so it's a free kick for Burnley. Which Comey will take. So that's play it through for Brendan O'Connell. Brendan O'Connell beaten to the ball. Now it's with Dave Martindale and acres of space in midfield. Plays it for Ronnie Moore. Ronnie Moore powering through. Gets it back to John Morrissey. Morrissey gets back to captain Jim Harvey. That's with Dave Martindale. On that side to Ronnie Moore. It's cross goes straight to Andy Farrell. And the Farrell's cross just slightly too far for Brendan O'Connell to chase. It goes back to Eric Nixon. Nixon's long cross. Steele just to have fouled Steve Davis there. So now Winston White has the ball for Burnley. Winston White gets a touch out to George Agani. Agani on that right hand side. Just to cross the ball in. Cleared there by Ronnie Moore for Burnley throw in on that far side. Taken by Ian Britton. Britton gets it back to George Agani and it comes back to Ian Britton. And now into the centre with Steve Gardner. Steve Gardner just going to touch through. Falls for Winston White. Puts it through. Everybody powering forward into the Tranmere Rovers box. Was out for Burnley throw-in. So Paul Comstiff with the throw to Andy Farrell. Andy Farrell chips it into the box. Straight into the arms of Eric Nixon. So Nixon with a kick forward. Comstiff tries to get a header through to Steve Taylor. Comes back to Paul Comstiff. Paul Comstiff powering forward. Just to have fouled Ronnie Moore there. Ronnie Moore, sorry, just to have fouled Paul Comstiff. Any words mixed up there. Win Burnley a free kick. Forward, gets George Garney, it's overhead kick, and straight to Eric Nixon. So Nixon with a long kick forward, with a long searching kick. So Ian Britton has the ball for Burnley. Play forward, only as far as Steve Mungle. Comes back to Chris Pearce. So Chris Pearce kicks the ball. Only thing is, it goes straight to Mark McCarrick. He tries to play a ball for Jim Harvey. It comes back to Chris Pearce again. So Winston White with the ball at the moment for Burnley. Plays it through for Brendan O'Connell. Straight 4 deflections. All my tongue. Paul Comstiff tries to lift the ball forward for George Agani to chase. It's offside there on Winston White. With full time up here at Prenton Park, the scores of Tranmere Rovers 2, Burnley 1. The only notable efforts of the game for Burnley. Good effort from Paul Comstiff, well saved by Eric Nixon in the first half, and then just 2 shots by Ian Britton, one going into the back of the net, and another one not very far away. Jim Steele plays a lovely ball out there. Mark McCarrick. It's a touch back. Burnley managed to clear the danger with Winston White. It's Winston White with the ball. Fouled there by Jim Harvey. So it's going to be Steve Gardner with the kick for Burnley. The only man back in the half. Everybody else pushing forward, looking for that goal. The back kick from Steve Garner. And straight out to touch. So Nixon lines up his goal kick. Linesman notifying them that full time is up. Paul Comstiff play forward for John Morrissey, but John Morrissey offside. So Steve Davis with the kick for Burnley. One kick forward. Brendan O'Connell has it for Burnley. His shot, well saved there by Eric Nixon. After a big goalmare tussle, gives Burnley a free kick on the edge of the area. So Burnley line up this free kick. As Ian Bitton tries a shot, touch off Paul Consive. Very near, not very far away there by Ian Bitton on this bending shot. Just unlucky. So the referee's played the full 45 minutes here at Penton Park, just playing injury times. So Eric Nixon kicks the ball forward. Jim Steele with the ball. Wasted effort there. As Chris Spears puts the ball forward. Cleared. That's with John Morrissey. Morrissey gets a good ball out to Ian Muir on that far side. Gets it back to Morrissey. Morrissey, on goal, just over the bar. Good effort there from John Morrissey. He deserves to score really for his part in this game today. So Chris Peters lines to take the kick. The referee blows for full time here at Penton Park. The scores are Tranmere Rovers 2, Burnley 1.